All good things eventually come to an end. And so we leave Fort Lauderdale and start our way back north to Philadelphia. A shorted transformer caps a night of partying with locals in Fort Pierce. Then we cruise on up to the anchorage at Cocoa Village.
One look in your eyes and I find it. When you leave in my mind I rewind it. When you got it this good, you don't fight it.
Are leaving Fort Lauderdale after a 2-day stay, and we're just heading out. We're going to go outside in the ocean. It's going to be a little bit rocky out there, 3 footers, 4 seconds, but I hate the bridges going through from here to North Palm, where we're going. So I think it's what we're going to do anyway. We're going to give it a shot. Hopefully it's not too bad out there. And it looks like I'm going to be pulling up to an empty fuel dock, so I might just stop and get some fuel since there's nobody there and it's real easy.
We made a quick overnight stop at Old Port Cove Marina in North Palm. A well put together marina, but a bit sleepy for us.
Talk about getting in the nick of time. The storm, after we're tied up, just started to come. Claire?
Well, we're out here in the ocean. We are maybe not even a mile from shore. We are heading to, where are we heading to? We're heading to Fort Pierce.
Yes.
And we have just left West Palm. And that boy, it's kind of rough out here today. They were calling for 3 or 4 footers. And yeah, it's more like 4 or 5s with occasional 7 thrown in for fun. There's whitecaps everywhere. If you can see them behind me, maybe I'll spin this way and see if you can see them back there. I might go a little dark, but yeah, it's mostly whitecaps, and they're on our on our beam, which makes for a nice rolly ride. We've got the stabilizers running, but nothing we can't handle. But it's going to be about 5 hours of this.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, uncomfortable, says Lynn. Well, the plan is to get to Fort Pierce, and we're just going to spend the night there. We have, I think we're going to Harbor Town Marina, and we've stayed there a few times before. They have a nice little restaurant there at the marina. Last night we just spent a night at a new place. What's it called? Old Port Cove Marina. Yes. And it's the docks were really fantastic. They have this new system where they slide their the cleats around. I don't know if it's a new system, but anyway, we haven't seen that before. We thought that was kind of cool. There was one restaurant there. Unfortunately, it closed at 8 o'clock, so it's not like a party city there, but it is a nice, well-maintained and well-run marina.
Yes.
And they gave us a bottle of wine when we arrived, which is way cool.
You know I love that.
Yes. So that's how you get into Lynn's heart. Whenever she arrives, you hand her a bottle of wine, and it always makes her happy. Well, anyway, I'm going to sign off for now, and we'll touch base with you when we get close to Fort Pierce. Well, we made it to Fort Pierce. Unfortunately, we forgot to turn the cameras on, so there's no docking footage. But they put us right along the fuel dock. That's where they put us the last couple of times. It works out really well. Restaurants right over there. Maybe, right? Yeah, I don't know if you can see. Okay, restaurants right over there. The entrance right back there, right off the ICW. A little bit of current in here, but otherwise it's a fine place to stay. Every time we've been here so far, we got lucky and met a couple of viewers, so we're hoping to meet someone tonight. We'll check in later.
So I totally messed up and forgot to film Ed coming in on this dock. So here is a reenactment, right? So there's all these boats. This is the dock, and these are the boats. And so here's Ed. He's coming in, and the current's against him. Current's against him, and so he pulls the front of the boat, the bow of the boat in, and it goes by the one piling, and the dockhand says, throw me the line. So I do, and so he's got the line, so I throw him the app line, and then that's all hooked up, and then we finish the lines. So that's how it came in. It was perfect. And then time for a cocktail. Roger out.
Oh, how'd they do? You did really good, Mr. Bill. We had an interesting night. We went to the restaurant at the marina, a nice outdoor restaurant. It was kind of quiet, and we had a few drinks, ate dinner, and decided to call it an early night. I went back to the boat, but along the way we met a couple that was on a trawler across from us, and they came over to visit the boat, have a couple of drinks, and then we saw another guy walking down the dock, and next thing he joined us, and the woman with the sailboat across from us came on over, and we had a little bit of a dock party. The woman with the sailboat, her name was Jen. She had a very interesting story. I wish we were running the camera at the time. She had just returned from a trip in her sailboat to the Bahamas, and prior to leaving, she had all her rigging surveyed just to make sure everything was good for the trip. Everything looked like it was good, but apparently it wasn't. So for some reason, when she was out in the Bahama Banks, she was demasted. Her mast broke literally into the water. Apparently it was rusted out from the inside, and it was acting like an anchor being dragged behind her. Fortunately, she had bolt cutters, and she ended up just cutting the rigging and just abandoning everything so that she could continue on with the boat. She ended up limping back to the United States on a sailboat without a sail. And if you've ever crossed the Gulf Stream, I can imagine it was slow going. Well, later in the evening, somebody went down below, I probably used one of the heads, and smelled something burning. And it turns out, it took us a little while. We were walking all around the boat trying to figure out where the smell was coming from. Turns out it was a transformer, just a regular 110 to 12 volt transformer that is for one of our hallway lights. There's a little spotlight we have there. And this transformer looks like it was made in 1979. It's big and it's bulky, and anyway, it was smoking. So we caught that, we turned it off, so near catastrophe averted. So I'll have to replace that when we get back to Philly, I guess. Anyway, we are currently on the ICW, and we are on our way to Cocoa Village. This part of the ICW, it's very calm, and it's an easy course. A lot of straightaways. The only thing is that it's very shallow outside the channel, so you do have to keep your eyes on the map. We're maybe a couple of hours out. We're going to anchor in the river like we usually do, and then take the dinghy to shore. And this time it looks like my mother and my sister and brother-in-law are going to stop by, and we're going to meet them for dinner. And well, we'll catch you in Cocoa. We are anchored here outside Cocoa Village, where we usually anchor, and I'm putting down the small tender because we're only going to go to shore, which is right over here. As you can see, we're only maybe, I don't know, 200 yards offshore. So it's easier to just put this down and grab the electric motor and scoot on over than it is to bring the larger tender down. So that's what I'm doing. The worst part is the battery.
Ooh.